welcome in, everybody, the newest head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski. Coach, I bet you wish it only took you 6 hours to drive to Ohio from Minnesota. But either way, you are now officially in Ohio. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, I wish there was teleportation, but we figured the drive was probably a little bit safer.
I actually have to ask you about that. You made the 11-hour drive from Minnesota Friday with the whole fam. I was texting Shregs and Charissa about this, and I said, wow, this sounds like Chevy Chase loading up the family truckster, National Lampoon's Vacation, where's Aunt Edna, throw her in the back seat. How did it go? Like, from a dad and a husband's perspective, just break it down.
Yeah, there was certainly some Griswold going on there.
The stink in the back.
Yeah, we got up early, got on the road. We a bunch of stops for some bathroom breaks, as you know, with the kids. But they were really good. We ran the gamut of things to do. We had the bingo, where if you see a farmhouse or you see a police officer or whatever, we did that. We did. I mean, honestly, you name it. It was just, what can we do to stay sane for as long as we could? But the kids were really good. They the excitement of getting here was a big deal. So once we kind of got through Chicago, they were anticipating finally getting into Ohio.
And I'm sure the anticipation for you is that high to get started with your team. We saw the Zoom call there. Coach, how are you adjusting, being that this is your first year with this team? And I know you were there in January, so you've been to the facility and everything, but how have you had to make adjustments now given the climate we're in?
Yeah, I had a great plan. I was ready with some great plans in the building and great practices. And the bottom line is when one plan's not going to work, you got to go to the next one. So truly, the good news for me is I have a bunch of good coaches. We have some really smart players. We're figuring this thing out, this program. And the fun part for us is I honestly feel like we as teachers learn something each day that maybe we might do a little bit better. So even this week, we might shift gears a little bit and try some different things in the meetings. I'm confident that the guys are learning. I really am confident that we're able to teach systems and be able to implement them. And then once we finally get on the grass with them, I'm really looking forward to seeing it live in real life. But for now, the virtual must do.
That Abraham Lincoln quote with the axe has all of us ready to run through a wall. But week one, the schedule came out. You guys have a buzzsaw waiting for you. I mean, the Ravens are not to be messed with. We'll know right away. What'd you think when you saw your opening at Baltimore, a team that went 14-2 a year ago and was obviously division champions?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the fun in this game. We're all competitors, and they're the division champs. We're going to get 2 shots at them next year. So week one, that's exciting for us. They got the MVP. They got great coaches, great players. So I think that the competitive nature of all of us, when your eyes immediately go to that week one matchup, I think we'll be ready to go. And there's a lot of time between now and then where we got a lot of work to do. But division game on the road, I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, another guy that's excited is Case Keenum. He will be reunited with you, and I'm sure it will feel so good signing him to a contract, familiar with your time with him back in Minnesota. But what's the game plan there? Of course, Baker being number one, but what's the motivation for Keenum being added to the lineup?
Yeah, I just think so highly of Case the person, but I think really highly of a backup quarterback position. I think that's a huge piece to a franchise. I think it's a big piece to an offense. I've lived it. We all know that there's years when somebody goes out for a quarter or out for a game or out for multiple games. So I think having a guy that's played in this league is huge. But more than that, I think he can really help our offense as a whole. Case, I think he's somebody that I've always valued the guy, how he prepares. So I've seen the work that he puts into it, and I think that can be a valuable lesson for our entire team. Case is the son of a coach, and he's a gym rat. So I think that message and how he carries himself, how he goes about his business is really important, really for our whole team, not just the quarterback room.
And Coach, watching Baker from afar, his rookie season and the way he was able to come into the league, what do you like about his game that you're excited to? I mean, given your, offensive prowess.
Yeah, a lot. I think, Baker, you see the skill set. There's a reason he went number 1 overall. He's an incredibly accurate player. I love the fiery nature that he has. He's a natural born leader. So we're excited to get our hands on him and and put him in a system that we think is going to be that's going to benefit him. We think this system is going to benefit his teammates, but certainly the all-encompassing skill set of Baker has been on display. Really, that's why he's won in high school. It's why he's won in college, and we're looking to get our arms around him and really put forth some great effort this spring, summer, and then hit the ground running in the fall.
Another guy that's obviously you want to get going in this offense and be a big part of it. Number 13, Odell Beckham. Never boring when you're talking about him. Always stories, rumors, and, during the draft, were we going to see him traded? Were we not? But what we did see is that Odell came out and said, you're going to see the best version of me this season with the Browns. How much time have you gotten to talk to this guy or even, maybe have some conversations over Zoom? Anything, Coach?
Yeah, I've Odell was one of the guys I was fortunate enough to see in the building, before we got kicked out of there. He and I spent some time together in the building. He's very receptive on the phone. He's easy to get a hold of, honestly, whether it be FaceTime or texting. He's engaged, and it's fun to be around somebody with this skill set. I mean, he's a special player, so we're really excited to get to work with him. But he's somebody that he knows what we're about. He knows how we're going to go about our business, and I would say he's very engaged.
So many rivalries on these rosters when you talked about colleges, right? Like you got the two LSU receivers and Jarvis and Odell, and then you've got a Georgia running back and Chubb, and I'm sure they run and go back and forth and talk trash. Well, what about you and your GM buddy? Because you played at Penn. Andrew Berry, the general manager, is a Harvard guy. We now have an Ivy League brain trust there in Cleveland, but how much do you guys talk trash about who's really the king of the Ivy League?
Well, I have 3 rings that I can just flash at him whenever the time comes. But it is fun. Andrew, he was a good player at Harvard too. He was a lockdown corner. So I've really enjoyed kind of hearing his perspective on defensive backs coming out. But it's something that it's never far from my mind when it comes to busting chops. So with any time you can take a shot at Harvard, you never pass that shot up.
Coach, making moves in the offseason, you drafted a tight end in the 4th round in Harrison Bryant. You also got Austin Hooper. This is a packed tight end room, but you like that.
I do. I think any room that's packed is always good. And that room in particular, we want to be multiple. We want to be versatile. We're not going to be a team that's going to stay in one personnel grouping. So the ability to play those guys, and I think what's fun about Austin Hooper, David Njoku, Harrison Bryant, these are guys that have varying skill sets that complement each other, and I think that's a big deal because there's certain things that we're going to want David to do that maybe something else we'd rather have Austin do, and then bring the young rookie in to do a certain job. So it's nice to have some guys with varying types of skill sets and then mix and match them appropriately as the game plan comes to fruition.
Yeah. I feel like right now we're all very well versed and so professional on Zoom, but guys, let's be honest, like early in this whole quarantine, like phones are going off, dogs are walking in, kids. Coach, is there anything that happened during the first part of your meetings, like maybe meeting some of your players that I was like, all right, let's rewind. Let's start over with this whole thing. Cause we're all human with this thing, right?
Yeah. There's been a lot of me yelling up the stairs, quiet on the set.
Quiet on the set.
Love it.
Because we got a lot of I got all sorts of toys all over the ground here. I got Mario sitting here.
Yes.
So I got
Luigi.
It's my is that no, that's Mario.
That's Mario. I'm Team Luigi.
No. Where's Luigi? I love him.
Oh, where's Luigi? Sorry. He's around here somewhere. But that's kind of my office is the kitchen counter right now. Our lives that's what it looks like. There's many times where my kids will kind of get over on my shoulder and watch some of our Zoom calls and watch some of the football discussions. And I'm like, this never would have happened normally. I'd be at the office and I'd come home and he'd say, how was your day, Dad? But I think it's cool. It's definitely something they'll never forget. So having them around, I'm trying to relish it as much as I can.
Absolutely. Coach, what are you being told right now as far as when you can get in? I know it's, it keeps changing and it's a very fluid situation, but sort of what's the timeline you're being told right now when you can get together with your guys?
Yeah, Charissa, I really don't know. It's fluid. I think there's such a great message in here, and I keep telling our guys this. Fans adapt, and we have to go with what we see right now. So with what we see right now is this virtual program, and we're going to try to do it to the best of our ability. And then if and when things change, we'll adjust and we'll adapt. And I think the message in there, and that's something that they'll hear from me at halftime. They'll hear that from me, after the first quarter, after the first drive. So we always have to have that mindset that we're ready and willing to shift gears to another plan if the first plan's not working.
I love
That's
it.
awesome.
It's not what happens to it, it's how we react to it. Coach, consummate class act, we really appreciate the time. Next time we do want your children in the background.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to chatting with you again. Hopefully not on Zoom. Hopefully you will be on the field. But thank you.
I can definitely make that happen.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this year.
For the best NFL coverage anywhere on the internet, follow NFL on Fox, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.